lack of information about George could seriously have killed Connor. I know he's a dillweed and all, but you don't have to play with his f***ing life.
He's in your troop now. I want you to welcome him.
But not badly enough to wait until you can turn around and can see me signing this information. Movie has time for this.
I started using this new vegan deodorant.
How's that?
It smells like guacamole.
Ladies and gentlemen, written by 3 screenwriters and Carlton Cuse. What the f*** is he driving? It's like an SUV got monochromatic and then added tractor wheels. I can't even tell what this is overcompensating for. Jesus Christ, you mean that even though that tiny-ass escape pod exploded, they made these canisters to be impervious to re-entry? Lame movie. Either you're gonna try and make a somewhat believable origin story for the rampaging later on, or you're just gonna blow toxic smoke up our asses. Huh, these canisters seem to be actively selecting wildlife preservations for their landing spots. George clearly attended the Alien franchise school of touching alien things. Is this seriously all that divides the gorillas from the grizzly bears? Like, couldn't either species figure out how to lift an easily movable lever to open the door? How has this confrontation not happened before, even by accident? Is he gonna shoot the giant white ape through the rock? I know you thought you blocked this well enough, so it would look like he was pointing the gun at the ape and not the rock, but you did not block this well enough. Go back and do it again.
What the hell is that doing?
You'd better come take a look at this, cliche.
We were doing our morning rounds and, on this.
They're morning rounds. These assholes were completely green yesterday, and are working in an extremely unstable environment for anyone other than Davis. But they're allowed to check the grounds by themselves now? Awesome. Someone thought to use protection while picking up a foreign, possibly alien container of a possibly hazardous substance. Sure, nobody has on even the most rudimentary safety equipment, but hey, at least he's using a plastic bag.
By...
It's a Tesseract. I mean an Allspark. I mean a Mjolnir.
I don't know. You gotta figure it out.
Do you? Like, do you gotta figure it out? Why not the authorities or scientists you immediately tell about this and hand this over to? Why can't they gotta figure it out?
Somebody finds that sample, it leads straight back to us.
Jason Sudeikis' little brother would be excellent at CinemaSins. Putting the actual Rampage arcade game in your Rampage movie based on that game, even if it's only a quick Easter egg, breaks the fabric of your movie's space-time continuum all to hell.
There's a reason we were doing these experiments in space, and it wasn't exactly for the betterment of humanity.
This implies you were doing them in space because they are illegal, and that's an incredibly stupid reason to spend tens of billions of dollars on a space station. He's such a badass. He literally drives with an unholstered handgun in his right hand. I mean, why do you even need to put scars on his arm and hand at that point? Scars schmars. He was driving with a gun in his hand.
Where to, Burke?
Wyoming.
Never been.
Animals love it. You'll fit right in.
Okay, when this scene opened, we learned they are in Colorado. And Colorado is very similar to Wyoming in terms of terrain. It's literally right above Colorado. So close that I find it hard to believe Doofus here has never been to Wyoming. But even if he hasn't, living in Colorado this close to Wyoming should mean he doesn't need to be told what Wyoming is like. So you just wanted some banter that sounded clever and let one of these meatheads call another one of the meatheads an animal and have everyone laugh while the chopper takes off. Like, this is exactly the kind of thing we started making these videos about. Because it's lazy and it gives the appearance of being a screenplay when it's really just bad junior high writing. I wonder what this person is studying. I mean, damn, this lady's got genetics books lying literally all over her apartment.
At a dramatic video of a fireball. It is thought to be debris from last night's Athena 1 tragedy. It's unclear if this is related to one of the park's gorillas escaping the enclosure at the sanctuary earlier this morning.
That is a lot of exposition crammed into a local news broadcast that would definitely be more focused on the giant space station explosions.
That is not the George we know.
Great, so can we get to some goddamn rampaging already?
You mean this?
Oh,
I need
please tell me you had that tested for residual particulates.
somewhere
Yeah,
to
right, lady. We do science a little differently around these parts.
Demonstrating levels of aggression you don't
spread
see
my
in his
damn
species.
religion.
But that whole
Jesus
first
Christ, when
scene
did this
in the Wildlife
happen?
Sanctuary was all about the gorilla aggression, right?
The grizzly bear, the most powerful terrestrial predator on the planet.
How do you determine the most powerful terrestrial predator? Is it jaw
What the
strength?
hell?
How long it can go without eating? Kick strength? How much it can bench press?
Oh, man,
I don't doubt
somebody-
a grizzly is a bad mother. But in defense of the lions, silverbacks, crocs, boa constrictors, and hippos of the world, we need to set some firm criteria before just summarily defining the grizzly as the most
I've got all
powerful
this
predator.
Familiar
time
with CRISPR?
be
Yeah,
effing
genetic
around with these
engineering.
It's more
jerks.
like genetic editing. Check this out.
Extremely intelligent geneticist immediately turns to Wikipedia to tell Davis about genetic editing because it's got pictures of sharks and along with increased
Oh,
size,
shit,
speed, and agility,
yeah.
the CRISPR edits also turn you into a jump-scaring dick.
What,
See, in a better movie, I might
246?
remove a sin here for causing a good laugh. But the problem here is science fiction that is trying to be grounded in the real world. This isn't the fucking Simpsons, so now I have to assume that has literally happened before, and that makes me angry. I liked this movie the first time I saw it, when it was called Rise of the Mighty Joe Skyscraper.
Berkeley base.
Something,
Rampage 1 is down.
something's
Roll
weird
credits.
here. Figure out what the hell
They're
happened.
in a hurry. What do you think?
If the deer were spooked, then why the were they running to the giant wolf and not away from it? I know the wolf's been super juiced for power and speed and all that bullshit, But is there something in that gas that makes a giant monster completely silent until they're ready to pounce? Tom Cruise would have landed it, I bet.
Brother, I'm gonna...
When's the new Joe Button come out? Fucking save on the duh. Taking all day to upload shit. Joe been up for about an hour and a half already. He upload his own shit. Fuck everyday struggle. Shit's trash. Yeah, I never got to see this damn Jussie Smollett interview. Why not?
I'm Robin Roberts in New York. Musician and
Not
actor
all
Jussie
who
Smollett
wander
sat down
are
with me
lost.
for his first interview since that night in Chicago. Smollett told me how he's doing now
Photography.
and responds to those who doubt his account.
I'm pissed off.
What is it that has you so angry?
So if I just finish cartography,
The attackers?
which allows me
but it's
to
also the attacks. It's like, you know, at first
all
it was a thing
naval
of
and
like,
embark units
listen,
can
if I tell
navigate
the
ocean
truth,
tiles.
then that's it, because it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Then it became a thing of like, oh, how can you doubt that? Like, how do you not believe that? It's the truth. And then it became
Let's
a
go with
thing
the
of
story
like,
reading. Why not?
it's not
Wait, is
necessarily
that
that you don't believe that this is the truth. You don't even want to see
ranged. I'll go with that.
the truth.
What happened that night, Jussie?
When I landed in Chicago, and Frank Gatson, who's like my
Right.
uncle, and he's also my creative director, and he picked me up.
So this is
And
before
then
I started
we
making
got
all
back
those
to the apartment.
troops.
There was no food, and so I went out to Walgreens thinking
Okay.
that they were 24 hours and to have a smoke.
Claim my
Walgreens was
great
closed.
writer.
So I called him up and I said, hey, I'm gonna run to
These
Subway, which was across the
orders.
street. I'm gonna get a salad. Do you want anything? I went to the Subway and got the order. During that time, I texted my manager thinking that he was still in Australia because he was on an Australian tour with one of his other
You don't
clients.
have anywhere
I
to
said, yo,
go,
call
so
me
you can go
when
there for
can. He
now.
called me immediately. And while he was on the phone, I
At this point,
heard, as I was crossing the
I have a
intersection, I heard
missionary over
Empire.
here.
I don't answer to Empire. My name ain't Empire. And I didn't answer. I kept walking and
Do I
then I
have-
heard
So my apostle's already
Empire.
gone?
So I turned around and I said, did you just say to me? I mean, I see the attacker masked. And he said,
Huh.
this MAGA
I
country
guess maybe I did
punches me right in the
sacrifice
face.
him.
So I punched his ass back. And then we started
Okay.
tussling. You know, it was very icy. And we ended up tussling by the stairs.
Fuck it, I'll just keep
There
going
was
with this
a
one.
second person involved
I feel
who
like
was
keep
kicking me
going
in my
back and
back.
forth.
And then it just stopped. And
Alright. Do
They
I have
ran
enough
off.
to buy an apostle to
and
kill
I
this
saw where they
dude?
ran. And the phone was in my pocket, but it had fallen out. And it was sitting there.
For
And my
him,
manager was still on the
come
phone.
down here.
So I picked up the phone and I said, Brandon. And he's like, what's going on? And I said, I was just jumped.
Nope, need one more
And
time.
then I look down and I see that there's a rope around my neck, which I hadn't.
You hadn't
obviously
noticed
done.
it before? You
No,
didn't
because
see-
it was so fast. You know what I'm saying? It was so fast.
How long did this all
It felt
take-
like minutes, but it probably was like 30 seconds, honestly. I can't tell you honestly. I noticed the rope around my neck and I started screaming. And I said, there's a rope around my neck.
Did you get any kind of description of the attack?
I gave a body description and I, you know, because I saw this, and you know, right here or whatever, but I didn't see, I can't tell you what color their eyes were. I can't tell you, and I did not see anything except the second person I saw running away. And the first person, yeah, I saw his stature. I gave the description
what the
as
fuck
best
is
as I could.
that
You have to
red?
understand
Is
also
that the damn
it's
archers?
Chicago in winter. People who can wear ski masks and nobody's gonna question that.
The police have gone through a lot of video and they were able to capture an image
Yes,
of
I'm
two
good.
people of interest.
No, too late.
Have you seen that image and do you believe that they could possibly be the attackers?
I do.
What is it about their size or
Culture.
why do you feel that they could possibly be?
Because I was there. For me, when that was released, I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. I don't have any doubt in my mind that that's
If that
them.
moment is usually, fuck it.
Never did.
Why did you hesitate to want to call the police?
You know, there's a level of pride there. We live in a society where,
Taj Mahal.
as a gay man, you were considered somehow to be weak. And I'm not weak. I am not weak. And we are, as a people, are not weak.
After this one, I should be
So
able to get my
I can accept
apostle.
that there was pride there.
As
There's
long as you
also
don't get too
privacy.
far away.
You know, at the end of the day, look what has happened. You know, look what has happened. So I'm glad that Frank called the police. I'm glad that we reported it. During that time before they came, it took them about maybe half hour to come. And
they
during
come
that
in
time,
droves.
I was looking at
That's
myself,
what
just
happened
like
on
checking
my
myself
damn
out. I saw the bruise on my neck.
religious
You know, like the little
spreads.
the little burn around my
Shut
neck.
up. Don't tell me
And
about
then
that.
I
You know how awesome
smelled
I
the smell
am.
of bleach. And I saw on my sweatshirt, it had marks on it, like spots on it, when you have a bad bleach job. So then I was like, there's bleach on me too. So when the police came,
Go away.
I kept the clothes on. I kept
You had the rope on the entire
I mean,
time.
it wasn't like wrapped around, but yeah, it was around because I wanted them to see. I wanted them to see what this was. I told them what happened, everything. I also asked them to turn their body cams off because they were trying to stay in the hallway. And I was like, please just come in. Like, I don't want a big scene with my neighbors and with like the second round of police officers. I went down to where it happened and I walked them through exactly what happened. And I looked up and I saw that there was a camera directly on the light post that is in the intersection. So I'm like, there it is.
Do I not have it?
A potential
No, I don't.
break in the
Why the fuck
case
did
that
that
would
open, man?
eventually fall apart days later.
And then the
Just
detective
clicked
told
the
me
wrong
that the
spot.
camera inside of the casing, so they didn't have it. And that was
So
disappointing.
you
The vast majority of people have been supportive and loving and understanding. And then as time has gone on,
Plus 2
and
food, gold
that there's
production
no,
on all desert tiles for this
you know,
city.
it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you're going to
flood
Subway,
plains must be built on
Sub-Zero
desert
is
or
open
desert. Ooh, that
24
sounds cool.
hours. Like, people kill me when they say things like that because it's like Subway is open 24 hours for a reason. So that when you're hungry at night and you ain't got no food, you go to Subway. The camera
meet them city
facing
states yet?
north. How is that my issue? It feels like if I had said it was a Muslim or Mexican or someone black, I feel like the doubters would have supported me a lot much more.
Must be built
A lot
adjacent
more.
to your capital.
And
Plus
that says a
2.
lot about the place that we
Work
are in our
slots.
country right now. The fact that we have these fear mongers, these people that are
Sounds good.
trying to separate us, and
Whoa.
it's just not okay. It's just not okay. And for all of the people, the next time that you see someone report something, maybe well after the fact that it happened, and you say to them, well, why you wait until now?
Ain't that bitch at
Just
yeah,
remember
they're
that
at
mine
war
was
with me.
reported right away. And look what has happened.
the phone.
Mhm.
When did you, because as you said, it was an accurate account of the timeline, valuable information. When did you make that information available to the police?
We had to give the phone records,
Cheese production.
which they didn't originally ask for my phone records. They asked for my phone. They wanted me to give my phone to the tech for 3 to 4 hours. I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna do that.
Why?
Because I have private pictures and videos and numbers, my partner's number, my family's number,
Workshop.
my castmates' number, my friends' numbers, my private emails, my private songs, my private voice memos. I don't know what that's going to be to hand over my phone for. And honestly, by then, inaccurate, false statements had already been put out there.
Earlier this week, he submitted phone records from within an hour of the incident. But Chicago police said they were limited and heavily redacted, adding they need additional information to corroborate the investigative timeline. His attorneys tell us they are willing to cooperate. Smollett also says he has been troubled by inaccurate claims. What other ones had you heard that were inaccurate?
Leave
That I
me
had said
alone.
that
Y'all keep
they
confusing
were
me and
wearing
shit.
MAGA hats. I never said that.
Go
I
away.
didn't need to add anything like that. They called me up. They called me. There's no which way you cut it. I don't need some MAGA hat as the cherry on top of some racist sundae. I've heard that it was a date gone bad, which I so resent that narrative. I'm not gonna go out and get a tuna sandwich at a salad to meet somebody. That's ridiculous, and it's offensive. Yes, there's Grindr, yes, there's Jacked, yes, there's all of these things, which I have not been on in years. I can admit that I was on that back in the day. I was single.
Gold if
you know what
the
I'm saying?
converts.
But I have not been on that in years. But aside from that, it's offensive. And I absolutely resent that narrative because it's bull. It's bull. And it's unfair. It's unfair to the investigation. It's unfair to, I hate this word, but it's unfair to the victim.
What were your injuries? What were
they did x-rays. I didn't have, it was reported that I had like fractured ribs or cracked ribs or something like that. That wasn't true. I was just in a lot of pain.
Didn't
you know,
I just
my clavicle was messed up. My rib was bruised, but I wasn't, nothing was cracked. I walked into the hospital. I walked out of the hospital.
Why do you think you were targeted?
I can just assume, I mean, I come really hard against 45. I come really hard against his administration. And I don't hold my tongue.
I want to ask you about Jesse Smollett.
I think that's horrible. It doesn't get worse, as far as I'm concerned.
Were you aware that he made that statement?
I saw it. I don't know what to say to that. You know? You know, I appreciate him not brushing over it.
And there is no doubt in your mind what motivated this attack.
I can only go off of their words.
Continent with
I mean,
a governor gaining 50% production.
Says empire. This MAGA country
must be built on
ties
adjacent
a
to
noose around your
government
neck
plaza
and pours bleach on you. And this is just a friendly fight. I will never be the man that this did not happen to. I am forever changed. And I don't subscribe to the idea that everything happens for a reason, but I do subscribe to the idea that we have the right and the responsibility to make something meaningful out of the things that happen to us, good and bad.
What do you feel people need to hear the most from this story?
I think that what people need to hear is just the truth. It's just the truth, because everybody has their own idea. Some are healing and some are hurtful.
Grassland.
But I just want young people, young members of the LGBTQ community, young black children to know how strong that they are.
I don't think I'm
to know the power that they hold in their little pinky.
I'm doing shit with
It's been 2 weeks since that night left actor Jesse Smollett bruised but not broken, and he's still processing the raw emotions. Have you ever been threatened before?
Yeah. I get threatened all the time on Twitter and Instagram and DMs and things like that. It's like, but, you know, I'm a public figure. I'm very outspoken. Sometimes maybe too outspoken, but it's who I am. You know, so I get the idea of pissing people off, that you're gonna rub people the wrong way.
In fact, the week before the attack, police confirm a letter was sent to the Fox studio in Chicago with threatening language and laced with powdery substance, likely Tylenol. Do you think there's a link between the letter and the attack? And you did mention it to the police right away about the letter.
Absolutely. Just because on the letter it had a stick figure hanging from a tree with a gun pointing towards it, with the words that said, "Smollett Jussie, you will die." There was no address. The return address in big red, you know, like caps, MAGA. Did I make that up too?
And despite lack of video surveillance footage, Smollett hopes to rewrite the narrative about that night, saying he fought back against his attackers and reported the incident after his creative director called 911.
He's supposed to be well-known requesting a report instead of noose was placed over the front stick.
I want that video found so badly because for probably 4 reasons. Number 1, I want them to find the people that did it. Number 2, I want them to stop being able to say alleged attack. Number 3, I want them to see that I fought back. And I want a little bit.
There is little man has made that approaches anything in nature.
But I fought
Okay,
back. And it does not take anything away from people
Wait,
that
what
are
the
not
fuck?
able to do that. But I fought back. They ran off. I didn't.
What do you say to a young gay man, a young gay person?
To learn to fight. And I don't just mean like learn to fight. I mean, learn to fight. Learn to be a fighter. I am not advocating violence at all. So let's be clear about that. If you're gonna die, fight until you do. Because if you don't fight, you have no chance. I have fought for love. I'm an advocate. I respect too much the people who I am now one of those people who have been attacked in any way. You do such a disservice when you
This
lie
is like
about
the
things
most
like
boring
this.
interview.
If the attackers are never found, how will you be able to heal?
I don't know. Let's just hope that they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not go there yet. Let's, I was talking to a friend, and I said, I just want them to find them. And she said, sweetie, they're not gonna find them. That just made me so angry because, so I'm just gonna be left here with this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just gonna be left here with like, so they get to go free and go about their life and possibly attack someone else, and I'm here to left with the aftermath of this bull. That's not cool to me. That's not okay. So I understand how difficult it will be
Choose production
to find them, but we gotta.
Where?
I still
Where did you
want
just
to
finish?
believe, with everything that has happened, that there's something called justice. Because if I stop believing that,
Library.
then what's it all for?
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Breakfast Club, bitches.
Bitches.
Now, I've been called a lot in my 23 years,
What
but
a
Donkey
donkey
of the
is
Day
that?
is a new one.
Yes, Donkey today for Thursday, February 21st.
Damn, there's another one right there.
AKA Jamal Line from Empire, but now forever.
So is these fucking knights are killing my fucking apostles.
There's a character, Justice Smollett is the real person.
249.
The storyline that sounds like something only Lee Daniels could create has found its way into Justice Smollett's real life, and because of that, he is forever known as Jussie Lion.
Sira bakal ruhong krodaning jong
You keep on fucking threatening me, bitch. I got your fucking 1,000 ships.
Okay, now full disclosure.
Fucking
when
hoe.
I first heard about this situation, I'm talking first day when everyone was posting pics of Jussie, sending him up prayers. I mean, it was people that were ready to fly to Chicago to go to war for Jussie Lion. I was watching all of this, and I heard the now infamous
Improvement makes straight road.
2 a.m. in those freezing Chicago streets, and two men throwing bleach on him, calling him a empire gay slur N-word, throwing bleach on him, and then throwing a rope around his neck. From the beginning, I never believed this story. From the beginning, this story sounded unbelievable, very sketchy, but I didn't feel the need to call BS on this situation because of my feelings. My intuition could be wrong, my instincts could be off, and when you have an opinion about someone else's business, when it's a serious situation like this, just know we take what should be objective situations and make them good, bad, wrong, unfair, essential, deserved, outrageous with our opinions. That's why you have to be very intentional on what you choose to have an opinion about, okay? In this situation, I gave him the benefit of the doubt because he's a black man. And why wouldn't I believe a black man who tells me he's been the victim of a hate crime? Why wouldn't I believe a gay man who tells me he's the victim of a hate crime? Well, I didn't. And since I didn't believe, and I had no reason not to believe him, I did what is very hard for us to do in this era, and that's not have an opinion on this situation. Oh, we live in this era where people choose feelings over facts. We don't even wait for all the facts of the matter to come out. We just grasp onto whatever reconfirms our
There is little man has made.
we have about people, places, and things. If we find situations that prove our points, then we push them. Okay.
This apostle.
About homophobia. He knows how we feel about racism.
Apparently there's somebody over there.
MAGA! And he played with our emotional heartstrings, okay? This is why, even though it's very hard, a lot of times all this noise we hear on social media is better to say nothing, okay? I'm speaking only for me. In life, I have to focus on the things in front of me that matter, or more importantly, that are in my control. Okay, whether Jussie lying was lying or not was not a matter that was in my control, and I wanted to wait until all the facts came out so I can speak from a place of facts and not feelings. And the facts are Jussie Lyon, or Jussie Smollett, as authorities call him, is going to jail. Okay, it was all good just a couple weeks ago. A couple weeks ago, he was a potential martyr. Today, he's a future felon. He's been charged with flying the cops. Let's go to ABC 7 Chicago for the report, please.
I think Jussie Smollett should come clear because the truth will set him free.
Bold words from the attorney of Abel and Ola Osundero, brothers who spent hours today talking to prosecutors in a grand jury. They are the same men police say are in this surveillance photo, and it's evidence Jussie Smollett told Robin Roberts shows his attackers.
I don't have any doubt in my mind that that's them.
Tonight, the Empire actor who told police two masked men beat him, yelling racial and homophobic slurs in Chicago's Streeterville neighborhood, is now charged with his own alleged crime. The Cook County State's Attorney's Office saying Smollett faces one felony count of disorderly conduct stemming from filing a false police report. Smollett is expected in bond court tomorrow afternoon at 1:30.
Well, you turned himself in this morning. First of all, Chicago PD has shown and proven they can solve a crime if they want to. Okay? All the unsolved shootings that happen in Chicago, all the unsolved murders that happen in Chicago that never get solved, Chicago PD figured this one out in a couple weeks. But let's stay focused on Jussie Lyon, okay? Jussie, I told you on this radio since last week, you should have shut up.
A common mistake that...
And the reason you couldn't is because you were investing a lot into the attention economy market, okay? You hijacked so many people's attention with this farce of a story, and we all know attention is the most addictive drug on the planet today. Instead of laying low, you decided to go to LA to do a show. What you should have done is just performed and shut the hell up. But instead, you read off note cards and told us what your lawyer said you can't say. Let's hear it.
Just a couple of points that I wanted to make really quick. I was bruised, but my ribs were not cracked. They were not broken. I went to the doctor immediately. Frank Gatson drove me. I was not hospitalized. Both my doctors in LA and Chicago cleared me to perform, but said to take care, obviously. And above all, I fought back.
I just want to know, why would a man who's a victim's
How
lawyer
much
advise
are
him
the
not to talk? How would you
motherfucking
get in trouble as the victim for talking about your
thingy
victimization?
things?
The
You know,
steady
why would a
hum
man
of machinery.
reading off a note card
The
to
acrid
describe
smell
his
of smoke.
victimization? You know why? He needed the note card because when you tell one lie, you have to tell a bunch of other lies to back up your first lie. And when you tell the truth, you don't have to remember what you said. But when you lie, sometimes you forget. Now, I know the magic question everybody is asking is why? Okay, why would he make something like this up? He told us why on that stage. Listen.
I'm the gay Tupac.
Yes, he wanted to be the gay Tupac. Jussie Lyon.
There is little man has made.
He wanted to be.
All right, I'm just gonna roll with whatever happens after this turn.
America. He wanted the same admiration that you see Kaepernick getting for taking the knee for black people. He wanted the attention that Meek is getting for standing for the rights of those in prison. Okay, Ambitions of a Writer would be a whole different song if Tupac was gay. But let's stay on topic here, all right? We all should have known Jussie Lyon was lying when he went on Good Morning America and was more upset that people didn't believe him rather than being upset about the crime that allegedly happened to him. Let's hear it.
Pissed off.
Is it the attackers?
It's the attackers, but it's also the attacks. It's like, you know, at first it was a thing of like, listen, if I tell the truth, then that's it, because it's the truth. Then it became a thing of like, oh, how can you doubt that? Like, how do you not believe that? It's the truth.
Okay, it wasn't the truth, Jussie. See, here's the thing. Racism is real. Homophobia is real. Hate crimes really happen in this country every day. We knew this already. You did no one any favors by pulling this stunt. And don't try to act like you were doing something for society, because you weren't. All right, you were doing something for personal gain. This was all very self-evident. Yes, you wanted to become a martyr, and you did. You became a martyr for everything that's wrong with this country and everything that's wrong with this era. People who are willing to do any and everything for attention. Don't think about this too deep, people, okay? Jussie Lyon is a clout chaser. Nothing more, nothing less. All right, black men in this country have been imprisoned and killed for years because of lies like this. All right, you took a play out of your oppressor's playbook, sir. If the roles were reversed and some white MAGA supporters made up a lie like this and it caused some black men to get incarcerated, we would be rioting. We'd be asking the judge to throw the book at them, and we have to keep the same energy with Jussie because we can't become what we claim to hate. Okay, in the words of Malcolm X, I'm for truth no matter who tells it. I'm for justice no matter who it is for or against. Period. Jussie, you cannot become what you claim to hate. I know you were probably, trying to prove some point about racism and homophobia in America, but you can't teach us what we already know, sir, and you can't solve a problem using the same energy that created the problem. Okay, I really have nothing else more to say about this matter other than in this attention economy, people cash in on experiencing some type of injustice. Okay, but the difference is the injustice that happened to
You want to come over here? Come over here.
The injustice that happened.
Let's roll, bitch.
Your injustice was fake.
I'm about to take over your whole fucking country.
A whole neighborhood of make believe.
I ain't worried about this fucking religious spread shit that I'm working on. About to take over your whole shit.
It's a man in a jail cell in Chicago right now, waiting for you to be his neighbor.
Please won't you be
choose research?
My neighbor.
I got you.
Please let me remark give Jesse Lyon,
I'm
aka Jesse Smollett, the biggest hee-haw.
I'm the Virginia Tupac.
Are you dumb?
Charlemagne the Godhead, today's Donkey of the Day is brought to you by the law office of Michael S. Lemonsoft. Don't be a donkey and call my friend Michael if you've been hurt in a construction accident. 212-962-1020. That's 212-962-1020. Don't be a donkey.
Yeah, bring that ass over here, boy.
Sadurungira perang puput.
1,000 ships.
Sira bakal ruha krodaning Jong Saiwu.
Wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV Angela Yee, Charlemagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Yes, make straight
Van
roads.
Jones.
But the crooked roads without improvements.
My brother, how are you?
Are roads of genius.
Tell us what is reform. Let's start there. You're the CEO of reform.
I'm the CEO of reform. You know, when Meek Mill went to prison for total nonsense, so many people around the world really got involved in getting him out, but including not just the grassroots, including Jay-Z, Robert Kraft, owner of the Patriots, Mike Rubin, owner of 76ers. You had him on the show. And it became a movement that really showed something that people hadn't thought about, which is that you got 6 million people who are under the control of the criminal justice system. 2 million are locked up, but 4 million are caught up on probation and parole. And that's really the revolving door. If you talk about the revolving door back in the day, it's that dysfunctional, super punitive, stupid probation and parole system that puts people back in prison on nonsense. It's not like, oh, I violated parole, I violated probation. That doesn't mean you're out there jacking cars or selling drugs. I was 15 minutes late for a meeting, and now I'm back in jail for 9 months. And you'll lose your house, lose your job, lose your kids. And we haven't been talking about that. That's 2/3 of the people who are caught up, who are being under the control of the system, are in this whole other thing. And so Meek really brought that to light. And so 2 rap superstars, Jay-Z and Meek Mill, and 6 billionaires who were touched by what was going on came together to start this thing called the Reform Alliance. And the job of the Reform Alliance is to break that revolving door and stop probation and parole from being a trap door into failure and have it be a springboard to success. And they brought me in. I've been doing criminal justice work for 25 years. Started the Ella Baker Center for Human Rights 20+ years ago, which is still in Oakland, still helping people. And so my job is to turn the vision into a reality. And it's amazing to watch the relationship between these people. You're talking about a Meek Mill and a Jay-Z in a meeting talking about how to close prisons. And that big brother, little brother, like Meek looks up to Jay-Z, but Jay-Z does not look down on Meek. Like, it's an amazing relationship. And then they have these billionaires, like, almost in tears. Some of these guys had never been in a courtroom. They had never been to a jail. They had never been to a prison. They come out, they're shook. And I'm not gonna put anybody on blast, but there are people who were in tears, white men in tears.
Robert Kraft.
I'm not gonna put nobody on blast. I'm just saying that so suddenly now after and you know this, Charlamagne, for 25 years, both political parties were mass incarceration parties. Don't just put it on the Republicans.
Some people may not know that. I want you to break that down for me. I called Van one day and he broke that down to me.
Well, look, in '88, not to date myself, but in '88, you had George H.W. Bush come out with this ad called the Willie Horton ad, putting Democrats on blast for trying to help people get out of prison. After that, both political parties were like, We both want as tough sentences as possible. 3 strikes and you're out. Bill Clinton, 94 crime bill, which started this whole thing, that came from Bill Clinton. And it was 100% Democrat votes in the U.S. Senate to start mass incarceration. 3 strikes and you're out. That was Democrats trying to prove to Republicans that they could be tougher on us than the Republicans. So it took both political parties to get us in this ditch. It's going to take both political parties to get us out. And so when you have a situation where for our whole adult life, for 25, almost 30 years, both political parties were cheerleading. Even 2008, when Obama ran, no criminal justice platform in the Democratic platform, no criminal justice plank. 2012, when Obama ran again, the Democrats still would not put in, even under Obama, a criminal justice
plank. Why do you think that is?
Because they were scared that they were going to be seen as, quote unquote, soft on crime, meaning soft on black people, meaning, you can't trust us to keep you safe. And so for literally 3 decades, it's been all negative. It wasn't until Black Lives Matter, Trayvon Martin, that the Democrats started to turn the corner. So then in 2016, we did finally have something in there under Hillary, but we couldn't even get it done under Obama with the Democrats.
What did you think about Obama? Do you think he did enough for African Americans?
He did. Listen, he did everything that he could do, given the fact that, listen, it's a different, Black Lives Matter changed the game. Do not forget that before Black Lives Matter, if you were trying to talk about race and racial relationships and you were an elected official, you were going to have a scope on your forehead because that was not considered okay. Obama almost had to go out of his way to make sure people knew he was for everybody. After Black Lives Matter came on, it was then finally the water was safe to tell the truth.
It's okay to talk about the problems Negroes are facing in this country.
Exactly. Now, but because of young people, because of protests, because of activism, activists always make it safe for leaders. People always, oh, I want the president to do this. I want the president to do that. Listen, if we start doing stuff at the grassroots level, then it makes it safe for other people to move.
Can religious units suddenly be killed by fucking
and so, as you can see,
other
when
units
got
in this
popped,
game?
People who should have known, like if you talk to the guys, these billionaires, they're ashamed. They're like, I should have known this. It shouldn't have had to happen to a famous person who's my friend for me to get involved. But that's the reality. Now, finally, both political parties are willing to do something. And so I'm somebody like, listen, man, I've waited for 3 decades to see this. If these guys gonna get together,
I need to come up with a strategy. Yeah, that was a good apostle. God damn it. Load game. 249 again. Yes. Fuck.
millions of dollars on the table. Let me get in here and help.
What is the money for? I know they pledged $50 million. What is that for?
Well, basically, it's to pass bills.
Okay.
People are like, oh, you got $50 million. I got, yeah, and 50 states. So, don't get, it's not like we got a bank.
So we got to pay these politicians off? That's what you're saying?
Listen, you don't have to pay the politicians, but you do have to pay for the advocacy, for the ads, for the lobbying, all that kind of stuff. But last year, working with a group called Cut 50, we were able to get 12 bills passed in 8 states, mainly helping women behind bars. And we also were able to get the federal government to finally begin to move in the right direction with the First Step Act. So this is the time. Timing
little man has made that's
timing is everything in your business. If Cardi B had come along 3 years earlier or 3 years later, she might not have made it. Right. But she came in exactly the right moment when people were looking for something exciting, and she had it, and she blew up. Similarly, right now is the time to get something done on mass incarceration, on criminal justice, on what's happening to our people, because you have people who finally have gotten it to the point where we're spending so much money, we're doing so much stupid stuff. Nobody would spend $80 billion doing the type of stuff that we're doing right now, hurting our community, if they could start from scratch. And so that's why I'm proud to be a part of the Reform Alliance.
Why was the timing great now for the First Step Act?
Well, first you have to remember that the Republicans have been coming around on their own for their own reasons. In 2010, after the Tea Party movement came up against Obama, we hate Obama. We got to do something. We got these people taking over. That was a negative movement. But what it did was it put a whole bunch of Republican governors in power at a time when the economy was in the garbage can. They had to make a decision. Am I going to raise taxes to build more prisons, or am I going to start letting people out of jail? And believe it or not, in Texas, they closed 8 prisons and brought the crime rate down. In Georgia, Governor Deal cut the prison population by 15, 20%, brought the crime rate down. Nikki Haley, South Carolina, Kasich in Ohio. Republican governors on the DL rather raise taxes, because they hate taxes more than they hate anything else, started closing.
More than they hate black people.
You said it. You said it. You said it. Okay. So they decided to start closing these prisons. It brought the crime rate down. So suddenly you have Republicans who are like, on a monetary tip, this stuff doesn't make sense. Some of them are quote unquote libertarians. They believe that people should be able to smoke dope or whatever they want to do. They began to move our way on the DL. And then also the Christian conservatives started saying, well, hold on a second. Where is the redemption? Where's the second chance? Somebody comes home from prison, they leave a physical prison, now they're in a social prison. They can't vote in a lot of states. They can't get a student loan. They can't get an apartment. So even the Christian conservatives are saying, where is the redemption? Where is the grace? Where is the forgiveness? So on the DL, the Republicans started moving in the right direction. Black Lives Matter moved Democrats in the right direction, but then you had Trump. And Trump starts out 100% negative against his own party, against the Democratic Party, against everything that we care about. And so for a minute, it looked like Trump was going to drag it all the way back to where it was, back to the whole build more prisons. Because when he got elected, the prison stocks went through the roof.
I was going to say that because, you know, they say, I'm not to cut you off, they say prison is big business, and a lot of people that invest in prisons also invest in these political candidates. So,
yes.
You know, with that being said, does it make it, is it in Trump's best interest to close these down?
Well, the thing about it is, even though $80 billion is a lot of money to me and you, it's a drop in the bucket of like a $3 trillion economy. So you can knock out some of these private prisons, and these billionaires are still going to be billionaire, you know, multi-billionaires. So it's not like it's for any one of them. It's like a big part of that. And so look, it's always messy. That's why I have this thing called the messy truth. It's never just all one way or another way. So in this situation, you do have a situation, and we need help. You know, reformalliance.com, you know, @reform on social media. Come sign up. We have a chance to pass real bills to make a difference. In New York State, we have a bill, the Reform Alliance is supporting the Less is More Act, which will begin to fix this probation and parole system here. Same in Pennsylvania and other states coming. While the door is open, we got to push. People say, well, how can you work with Republicans? How can you work with billionaires? We ain't got enough black people to close these prisons by ourselves. That's real. I'm sorry. Like, if we did, we'd have been done that. So we're going to have to work with anybody and everybody to get this done while the door is open. Because, you know, tomorrow, they could flip the switch. Oh, well, look, this person got a prison. He killed somebody. And we'll be back 20 years dealing with the same
With that being said, well, what can people do? Because you said we have to. What can people do that are on the ground? Soldiers that are just at work, that are listening right now. How can they help in this fight?
First of all, a lot of soldiers are on the ground helping already. And, you know, there's one thing I want to make sure. The Reform Alliance, yes, you know, there's celebrities involved, there's money involved. This is a grassroots fight, and it's been a grassroots fight. And people have been out here for years with no help, no love, no recognition. And so a big part of what we want to do is get behind people like Topeka Sam, who's an amazing sister who's out here. She's starting programs out of her own pocket. She was on probation herself, and you know, helping people. But so first of all, help those grassroots groups. If you're an elected official, take meetings from folk who can't give you money, but who can give you good ideas about how to save everybody money. A lot of grassroots organizations, you know, I would put in that category. And then addition to that, help us. If you sign up at reformalliance.com, you'll be on the inside track. We're gonna be giving you information, we're gonna give you opportunities to get involved, we're gonna be connecting you with people who are already engaged in this fight. This is the human rights, civil rights fight of our time. Slavery was about making sure black people had no freedom. Jim Crow, segregation, Dr. King days, that kind of stuff, making sure black people, brown people, poor people had no freedom. And that is what mass incarceration is. That is what this incarceration industry is about. Making money off of locking up and locking down black and brown bodies. And so if you say, well, yeah, back in slavery days, I would have done X, Y, and Z. Well, if you're not doing that today, you wouldn't have been doing that then. Back in Jim Crow, I'd have been with Dr. King, I'd have been doing this, I wouldn't have put up with it. If you're not doing nothing today, you would not have been doing anything then, because this is that movement of freedom for us.
A lot of people didn't agree with the First Steps Act. Why?
Yeah. Well, listen, that was a tough call for a lot of people. The First Step Act, first of all, You're working with the Donald Trump administration.
Well, explain to the people what the First Step Act is. A lot of people won't know.
Sure. Okay, so at the federal level last year, we got 87 U.S. senators out of 100 and 358 congresspeople out of 425 to pass a bill to begin to fix the federal system. And Donald Trump signed it. And it was very controversial because, first of all, what are you doing working with Donald Trump? As you know, Donald Trump is negative against people of color and has been for so long.
And you're a black man. You shouldn't be talking to him.
Exactly. I shouldn't be talking to the guy. Woo, woo, woo. And so what I said was, look, under Bill Clinton, a Democrat, we had negative policies on criminal justice and then locked up more people than ever. Under George W. Bush, we tried, failed, didn't get anything done. Under Obama, we got very, very close, but we still failed. Now I'm supposed to, as a grown man, as a father, have the 4th president in a row do either damage or nothing? I'm not hearing that. When I go into prisons, I never hear anybody say, I'm in prison, I'm getting brutalized, I miss my family, I want to go home, help me, but whatever you do, don't talk to any Republicans.
Right.
They never say that. They say, get me out. They don't care who's in the White House, they want to go home to their house. They don't care who signs the thing, a Republican governor or a Republican Democrat. They sign this thing and get me home.
Government is government.
Government is government.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we could be up here at the, intellectual level and, the activist level and the woke level talking all this nonsense. But people we got 200,000 people in the federal system alone, 2 million coast to coast, who deserve an advocate. No matter if Democrats can't win an election, they're supposed to just sit there for 4 years, 8 years, waiting for us to get the perfect, candidate across. No. So I said, here's the deal. To quote Jay-Z, with the Trump administration, I got 99 problems, but prisons ain't one. Jared Kushner, daddy went to prison. He got the issue from the door. He said, look, my dad was in federal prison. I know how bad it is. I want to do something. I said, listen, I'll fight you on the other 99 issues. Immigration, guns, climate change. But if on this one issue you want to do something, I'll fight harder than anybody that you know, because I haven't seen any successes yet. So we joined forces and we got it done. And a lot of people, they were very mad because they said, well, the bill isn't as big as Obama's bill. I said, you want me to get a camel through a keyhole? Like, if you want an Obama-sized bill, we got to have an Obama-sized president. You can't lose an election, lose the Senate, lose the House, lose the Supreme Court, lose the White House, and then try to get a massive bill done and be mad at me. I wasn't in charge of the Democratic Party when they lost all those elections. I wasn't part of the Democratic Party when they lost the Supreme Court. So you now got to tell me, I've got this big of a hole. I'm going to get everything I can through that hole. And we did. And by the way, you're going to have this year 3,000 people from one part of that bill alone coming home who were put in jail under those unjust crack codes. There's 3,000 to 4,000 of them who would never have come home, wouldn't come home for 10 or 20 years, will come home this year. That's one aspect of the First Step. 100% of the people who are behind bars in the federal system because of First Step are going to be able to come home a little bit earlier if they just stay out of trouble. Half the people in the federal system can come home significantly earlier if they take classes, they get job ready, and they're transformed. None of that was in place. And so we got some things in place. Now, it's the first step. It's not the last step. There's a lot more to get done. But here's what it shows. It shows that if you're willing to work hard and take some risk, because, I got called everything but a child of God, reaching across the aisle to work with the administration on the thing, you can get stuff done. Now, on other issues, you can't. This is an issue for whatever reason. Like I said, the Tea Party, it's ironic because the Black Lives Matter make the Democrats better, and the Tea Party make the Republicans better on this one issue. The other issues, we just have to fight.
Do you think a lot of people don't necessarily understand the prison system? Meaning, when you talk about release and you talk about some of the people being released, and then you listen to the president makes it seem like, the only people that we want released is murderers, rapists, and those criminals, where you're just talking about people that were selling drugs, and now, marijuana is legal in a lot of places. A lot of people I don't think necessarily get that part of it.
Look, I think more people are beginning to understand it. Obviously, what's interesting is this addiction crisis on opioids, which is hitting white communities, I think has changed a lot of the white lawmakers' mindset. Now it's hitting their cousins. Now it's hitting their voters.
Where was y'all when this was crack?
Exactly. It was crack cocaine. It's like, listen, send in the SWAT team. I don't see the SWAT team going into Appalachia. I don't see the SWAT team going into, Indiana and throwing people on the ground and destroying their families. And it breaks my heart because I saw that happening all through the 80s and the 90s to our community. But you have to take the good where you can. And so now I see they have a different attitude. They're like, oh man, people are addicted and they need help. I'm like, yeah, you think? You think? When rich kids get on drugs, they go to rehab. Poor kids get on drugs, they go to prison. I've seen that my whole life. So to me, it's a learning opportunity, it's an educational opportunity to get people who have been missing in action on this fight and get them involved. I think when you get to the people who have done dirt, who have hurt people, they're people too. That's not what the Reform Alliance is focused on right now. But you can't throw people away. You take anybody and you put them in a negative situation, they're gonna do negative things. 9 times out of 10. Some people, no matter what you do to them, they're gonna come out positive. Some people, no matter what you do to them, they're gonna come out negative.
Right.
So, but for me, I don't think we have genius to waste in our community. When I spend a lot of time, behind those bars. Some of our, as you know, some of our best, most creative, most insightful, most philosophically profound, most artistically gifted people right now in our community are locked up.
If he gets killed by that, I'm just not building no more.
And you say, well, how come the black community isn't doing this? How come you're not doing it? Let me take your best and brightest out of any community and lock them away for doing stuff that almost every kid does. When I was at Yale, I saw more kids doing drugs at Yale than I ever saw in a housing project, and they had more money, they were doing more drugs. None of those kids at Yale went to prison, not one. And yet the kids in housing projects 3 blocks away were going by the dozens. So if you did to the rich community, your kids are doing this stuff, your solution is not rehab and a hug, your solution is 12 years in prison. Those communities would be devastated too.
Yeah, right.
And so the Reform Alliance, I'm proud to be a part of it because we're starting a conversation. Now, you and I can have a conversation at this high level about, history and redemption for all human souls or whatever. Other people have to start with baby steps. But let's start them where they want to start. They want to start with these just outrageous cases around probation and parole. That's where people will start. I've never seen anybody do anything but get more progressive.
It's gonna have a full-fledged fucking
you deal with the prison system,
world war in my hands.
You're only dealing with this part of it. Trust me. Let them start where they start. The more you deal with this system, the more people you see, the more money you see wasted, the more lives you see ruined, you will get better and better. I've never seen anybody work on this issue and get more concerned.
You said Obama's bill was bigger.
Yes.
But then the first setback, was it better?
Bigger and better in every way.
So why didn't that bill pass under Obama when the Democrats had the House and the Senate and they care so much about black people and they know mass incarceration is affecting us more than anybody?
What fucking unit did I just lose?
Well, don't forget, Obama only had the House and the Senate for 2 years out of 8.
Okay.
6 of his 8 years, the Republicans had one or both other houses. And now, of course, now with Trump, he just does whatever he wants to, but, Obama wanted to follow the law and follow the Constitution, and so he wasn't willing to just destroy the country to get his way. Maybe you could criticize him for that, but he was trying to follow the law, he was trying to follow the Constitution, and then also get things done. But to be honest, Black Lives Matter changed the conversation, but that was halfway through his last term.
Yeah, he wasn't Barack the first president to ever even visit a federal prison?
First sitting president ever to go into a federal prison and sit down and talk to people, and that was huge.
The steady hum
that
of
was,
machinery.
Like a year and
this game
4
is
months
pissing
left
me
in
off.
his term, his last term when he did that. So unfortunately, like I said, by the time the mass movement broke out of Black Lives Matter, the Republicans had the Senate against Obama, they had the House against Obama, and Obama had very little time left. That said, he did everything he could do. I mean, you can't fault the guy. I mean, both of his attorney generals were trying to pull the feds up off of us on dumb stuff. He told his attorney general, both of his attorney generals told those feds, quit giving people maximum sentences for minimum nonsense. Quit, stop doing that. As soon as Trump got in, Jeff Sessions reversed it and went back to the negative. So, these elections matter, and it's not the only thing, but it really does matter.
How are you incorporating the activists who've been laying the groundwork when it comes to prison reform? Because they give you flack because they say you give Kim Kardashian all the credit.
Hey, listen.
Call the hero. Call the hero.
Hey, listen. I'm tell you right now. I was in the Oval Office with Kim Kardashian, with Donald Trump, with Jared Kushner, with Ivanka. And I saw Kim Kardashian move this president. Now, that doesn't mean, and she will tell you, that she would have never even known about the issue had it not been for activists. And the activists who are on the front lines, who, you know, lifted up Miss Alice Johnson's case, people like Topeka Sam, people like Brittany Barnett, black women activists who lifted up Miss Alice Johnson, they lifted her up for the purpose of somebody like a Kim Kardashian taking that ball that last 10 yards where they couldn't get to. And so when you're really in the work, you're not sitting up here saying, well, you know, why is this person getting credit? You're so excited about the victories, about people coming home. So, but I cannot tell a lie. All the activism in the world, and listen, I've been an activist on this for 25 years. If you had not had a Kim Kardashian, somebody who Trump could relate to, TV star to TV star, we wouldn't have won. And so I have to give her credit. At the same time, people act like credit is like a finite resource. You know what I mean? Like,
you can get more accomplished when you stop worrying about who get the credit.
Yeah. It's like, listen. Louis Reed, a brother who came out of prison, now part of Cut 50. Part of the reason that we were refusing to die on the First Step Act, they killed us 20 times. The Republicans killed us, Democrats killed us, they wrote us off. Louis Reed from Cut 50 was talking to people in federal prison every day. They were calling him every day. Don't give up on us, don't give up. Okay, please help us, please help us. We couldn't quit. Like, you know, you get tired and you say, listen, maybe next year. They say, no, next year is too long, help us. So when you're connected with the grassroots people and the grass tops people, when you're willing to work with both parties, all races, to get something done, you can get something done. But you can't listen to the people who are gonna say, well, you know, that doesn't look radical. I'd rather look conservative and have a radical outcome than look radical and leave the status quo in place. And so that's really, I think, as black people, what you're gonna notice now, the entire Democratic primary will come down to who do black people pick.
Now, that's a great question. So what are your thoughts on the 2020 candidates now? Who's good for the fight?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, you're Bernie.
Everybody said I was a Bernie person just because I was willing to be honest. When Bernie was whooping Hillary and people feel like it wasn't happening, I was to tell the truth. I said, how you gonna have this dude who's like a 470-year-old Muppet socialist-looking dude get 47% of the vote?
That's ageism now.
I mean, I'm just saying. All I'm saying, look, I'll call it black, I call it old, I call it young, I call it like it is. This dude, nobody heard of Bernie Sanders. He looks like the dude from the Muppet Show. And
he definitely looks like the
Doesn't he? And he got 40.
Like the dude from the Muppet Show. One of the professors with the white coat on.
Exactly, with the white thing, yeah. I'm like, we got a Muppet running for president, and he got 47% of the vote against Hillary. You have to tell the truth about it. People go, no, yo, that was a. I said, no. I remember when Dennis Kucinich ran on the same program, he got 3% of the vote. Bernie ran, he got 47%. I remember all these numbers. I remember all.
Didn't Dennis run like 4 times though?
Yeah, and Dennis ran. He's like a professional candidate. He never got more than 3% with the same platform. So I said, how is this dude getting 47%? Something's wrong. Something's wrong. And man, they were so mad at me. Oh, you're hurting Hillary. I said, I'm not giving 47% of the vote to Bernie. I'm just reporting the facts.
Right.
So now I have a problem because everybody knows running for president. I've known Cory Booker for 25 years. I've known Kamala for 20 years. I've known Elizabeth for 12 years. I've known Bernie for 10 years. I've known some of the people like Eric Garcetti. So imagine if everybody you know the same year runs for president.
And I was going to say that. Does that help? Because now you got split. The vote split.
It
You
does.
voting for your friends, man, or you voting for policy? Come on, man.
Look, I'm gonna give him a year. Luckily, I have to vote for a year. But it's I mean, because I'm gonna be honest. When you know people, it's hard because you're like, look, I know too much. You know what I mean? It's like, I know too much. So I have to have
smoke weed with Kamala.
I didn't say that. See, you got Kamala in trouble with that last time. You got her in trouble with that last time. So look, all I'm saying is that I've got to now see these people through new eyes as candidates, not as my friends, not as people I grew up with, but as candidates for the highest office, and see how they do. I guarantee you, some people who everybody's betting on right now are going to slip, stumble, and fall. People are writing off and don't care about it all are going to wind up just shocking people, and people are going to be, oh, I never thought I'd be excited about this person. So we have a year. But everybody's afraid we got too many people running. I don't agree with that.
You don't think so?
No. We have a year. So listen, nobody gets to vote until February of next year. So for a whole year, you're going to get a chance to see people grow, make mistakes, improve. You're going to get a chance to really know these people. By the time you go vote next year, you will be very clear about who's good and who's not. And whenever you have a big field, you wind up with a stronger candidate. We had a big field that gave us Bill Clinton, a big field that gave us Barack Obama. Frankly, it was a big field that gave the Republicans Trump. And as terrible as Trump is, he's a monster. I mean, he's impossible for anybody to stop right now. So I'm not scared of the big field, but just at a personal level, you know, I just have to relook at everybody. I know all their strengths and weaknesses. I'm proud of all of them. I feel old, you know, to be, you know, I turned 50 last year, so I feel like, wow, like I'm so old that my friends could be president. That's old.
Let's stay on this for a second, because I got a couple questions about this. You said something very interesting. You said it's going to come down basically to the black vote.
Or he's dead.
In 2020.
100%.
That's going to be a problem for a lot of these Democrats because they've always been scared to talk to black people. They've always been scared to talk about a black agenda.
Yeah.
So how is that going to affect their campaigns?
They're going to have to figure out that
religious
the
units right
Republicans have a core vote. And their core vote, white, male, evangelical. They're not ashamed of that. They don't run from it. They run to it. They love their core vote.
What happened to the fucking thing
will
exploding?
Fight and die for their core vote. The core vote in this Democratic Party, black women. Black women voted 96% for Hillary. That's like almost unanimous. It was black women who, you know, put Stacey Abrams in play. Black men voted 89% for Hillary. People say, well, that's terrible. What's wrong with black men? Well, hold on a second now. That means 9 out of 10 black voters who are men voted for a woman to be commander-in-chief. 6 out of 10 white women voted for Trump. So be very clear now when they come at us and say, you know, black men are so sexist. Look, the black women were 96%, the black men were only 90%. Well, first of all, black women are better at everything, period, anyway. So it's not fair to compare us to them.
That's true.
That's not fair. Compare us to everybody else. Compare us to Latinas. Compare us to white women. We way outperform for the Democratic Party. Black male voters voted for a woman to be commander-in-chief when white women voted against a woman to be commander-in-chief. So we are the core of this party. For too long, they have gotten away with taking us for granted.
Yes.
And take our votes and give us nothing. Those days are over.
And they got to speak to us.
They're gonna have to come and talk. They gotta come on your show like they've been doing. You see them lining up to come on your show.
Yeah.
I said, can you send them over to my show? How come you get everybody on your show?
But they gotta have a real black agenda though. Like I don't want to ask them that question and they say things to me like, oh, a rising tide lifts all boats. And the black agenda is an American agenda. No. We need specific things for black people. What does that look like to you?
Well, I think for me, criminal justice reform is for us. I believe criminal justice reform is a key because that school to prison pipeline, instead of having a school to success pipeline like other communities, we got a school to prison pipeline. That is destroying us. So that has to be taken care of, number one. And there's a lot of other issues you're gonna hear a lot about that you have never heard before in a presidential campaign. Stuff like what they call black maternal morbidity. What is that?
Yeah, what is that?
That is black women dying having babies when very few other communities have that as a problem.
That's a real thing.
That's a real thing.
And why is that though?
Well, it's because I believe it's because of racism in the medical system. When a black woman says, I'm hurting, people say, oh, well, she's just complaining. She's just a diva. She's a drama queen. A white woman says she's hurting. Oh my God, let's help. A black woman says, like, I don't feel good. Oh, well, she'll be all right. You know, they're strong. Somebody else says it. Oh, well, let's check. Oh God, her blood pressure is dropping. We got to do something. So black women are dying at incredible rates, having babies. And it's never been a campaign issue. It will be a campaign issue this year because those Democrats know that it was the black women who said it's going to be Hillary, not Bernie. When Bernie Sanders was in Iowa and in New Hampshire, he was doing well, all white. He got to South Carolina, where black people had a chance to talk and black women had a chance to talk, his campaign was over. Now, he kept running, but he couldn't win in the South because our party in the South is black women. And black men, but black women leading, as always. So you're going to have to deal with those issues. And you've never seen that before. You've never seen, I want both political parties to have to fight to say who can be the best on criminal justice reform. Not who can lock up the most people like it's been, not who can be toughest on crime like it's been. I want Republicans and Democrats fighting, say, no, we're going to close more prisons. No, we're going to be more fair. and then also on some of these other quote-unquote sleeper issues that affect our community. And I think we have to insist, and I love what you just said, don't give us a whole nonsense. A rising tide doesn't lift your boat if your boat got a hole in it.
Damn right.
Our boat got a hole in it.
That's right.
The way that black women are being discriminated against in the workplace and by the medical establishment, that's a hole in our boat. The way that our kids smoke a joint and go to prison, and your kid smokes a joint, puts it on Instagram, and nothing happens, that's a hole in our boat. So how are you going to plug these holes in our boat? Don't tell me about a rising tide, because we're drowning in this rising tide.
Senator Kamala Harris.
Yes,
her record as a prosecutor is in question.
Yes.
You're someone who's always big on prison reform. We know that. So how do you feel about her former history as a prosecutor?
You know, I feel mixed about it. I love Kamala. I've known Kamala for 20 years. I've known her sister Maya longer than that. It's weird because in her moment, when she first came out talking in California about, I'm not going to be tough on crime, I'm going to be smart. That was radical. She said, she stood up when she was a PA in San Francisco and refused to have the death penalty who was accused of killing a cop. That was radical. A black woman in California? People say, well, California's so liberal. Have you been to California? Outside of LA and the Bay Area, it's Calabama. That state is all red, except for 2 little blue spots. So to have a black woman in those days talking about, I'm not going to be tough on crime, I'm going to be smart on crime. I'm not going to give the death penalty.
All other lands found on the western side of the boundary shall belong to the King and Queen of Castile and their successors.
That we didn't like and we didn't understand. And now the times have moved to the point where her radical part seems small and the parts that were problematic seem big. So it's just the problem when you're in public life for so long, what was cutting edge yesterday, now it's behind the times. And so that's going to be her problem. She's got to explain that. She's got to come, and she can't act like she's being treated unfairly. The times have changed, but in the black community, we've been clear since '92 that they were treating us wrong. Don't forget, you know, Rodney King was 92. They burned down LA in '92 behind police brutality. It's not some new thing. This issue has been with us, and so she's gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah, we can't act like even the people that a lot of us say we like, they signed that 94 crime bill. Bernie Sanders signed that 94 crime bill. Joe Biden signed that 94 crime bill.
Biden was terrible. I mean, I mean, look, I love Biden. I mean, listen, I know all these people. I work for Biden in the White House. His middle class task force. I staffed that for him.
What do you mean he was terrible?
Criminal justice.
Oh, got you.
He was horrible. He was on there trying to attack the Republicans from the right. He was like, the Republicans are not going to put as many people in prison as we are. But don't trip. There were civil rights leaders, Negro preachers, signing off, saying, do something about these crack dealers. Fine, do something. But you're going to then say that the white dude at the country club who has powder cocaine, if he ever gets arrested, which he never will be, and he ever does any time, which he probably won't, he's going to do 1 year. And then the brother on the street corner with cocaine with a little bit of baking soda in it, same drug, just some baking soda to make it crack, is going to do 100 years?
That's crazy.
100 to 1? That was Biden's solution. That was the Democratic Party solution. That was Bill Clinton's solution. That's what Hillary Clinton was out there caping for. So that's why when people come at me, you're working with Republicans, what the hell, blah, blah. I'm like, do you know your history?
Yeah.
Both of these parties signed off on this. I need both of these parties now to both take responsibility for getting it back the right way. And if you leave it only to Democrats, you're actually hurting more than you're helping. I want the Republicans to come out that sniper tower, shooting at Democrats, shooting at Black Lives Matter, shooting at activists, get out that sniper tower down on the field with the rest of us to fix the problem. Which means you gotta talk to them. We don't have enough Black progressive activists to close these prisons by ourselves. So you're gonna have to talk to people who you don't agree with, who don't look like you, who you're gonna be mad at on 99 other issues, but you're gonna put the people first or your ego first? You're gonna put the people first or how you come across on Twitter first? People come at me all the time on Twitter, Van Jones, you're a sellout. I say, hold on a second. You're on Twitter. You say I'm a sellout for passing a bill to get Black people out of prison. I'm not even gonna argue on the substance. If you're on Twitter attacking me, here's what I know about you. You are not in federal prison because they ain't got Twitter in prison. So I don't have to listen to you because the people I'm accountable to are in prison. They're not on social media. And so this is the situation I feel like as we take our responsibility now, it will be the African-American community that picks the next Democratic president, candidate, and it will be our sacrifice to get Trump out of office. And so we have to now grow up into a different level of responsibility. If democracy is going to be saved, it's going to be saved by black people. If the economy is going to work for anybody, it's going to be because we insisted. And so that puts us in a very different situation than we've ever really been in before, because, you know, it's coming down to us. And so I think that's why people would rather be on your show than my show. I got a show on CNN. If any campaign manager, any political advisor would say, your show is more important than CNN, because the next generation of voters are listening to this show. And that's why you got all these people lining up to come in here. And it's not going to stop. And it's a testimony to what you guys have done here, the testimony to the centrality of black culture globally, the testimony of Black Lives Matter.
Now you said after Donald Trump's State of the Union speech, you said his speech was psychotically incoherent with cookies and dog poop. Now, cookies and poop. Yeah, with dog poop. Did you get any backlash from that? Especially being that I guess that's your guy.
I mean, Trump's not my guy. We agree.
Trying to throw that on you. That's your guy.
We agree on one issue. And listen, that was the cookies. The cookies was he said some good stuff on criminal justice.
Right.
The dog poop was he was attacking the immigrants.
Yeah. Right.
And here's the thing: as black people, we can never get so excited about our one issue that we throw our brown sisters and brothers under the bus. So I couldn't come out there. Look, there was tears in my eyes when Trump pointed out Miss Alice Johnson. He pointed out black people who had been formerly incarcerated in the gallery, mentioned for the first time in a presidential speech.
He took a lot of credit for that. He took a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, he took credit. So listen, but I'm just saying, in the moment, when that was happening, I had tears in my eyes because when he said welcome home to that brother, I said, I hope America's listening. We should welcome home our sisters and brothers. Then he turned right around the next, I don't mean the next 5 minutes, I don't even mean the next 1 minute, the next second, and then starts attacking all the immigrants like they're committing all the crimes, when the immigrants have a lower crime rate than the rest of us. Undocumented immigrants have a lower crime rate than white people. And he's gonna attack them? And that's why I said, I had all my happy comments, pour them up, throw them away. No, we're not going out like that. And so I said it was cookies, which I wanted to hear, but it was also dog poop. And did I get backlash? Yeah, I got backlash, but I get backlash because I tell the truth. I say stuff that pisses off liberals and they jump on me 1 week, next week the Republicans jump on me. I said the election was a white lash against a black president.
I remember that.
The Republicans got all mad at me. When I give Trump credit, the liberals get mad at me. But you know what? Our people are not liberals, progressives, Democrats, Republicans. Our people are oppressed, okay? And when you have oppressed people, only one thing that will set us free, and that's the truth. You gotta be willing to tell the truth, whether folks like it or not. When Trump is wrong, which is 99% of the time, I kick his butt. But when he's right on our issue, I'm gonna give him his credit. And we have to be willing to do that. Otherwise, you know, we're a part of the problem. You know, people wanna get political and calculate based on, well, is this gonna help the Democrats? Is it gonna help black people?
Or
is it gonna help poor people? Is it gonna help brown people? Then I'm for it. I'll fight anybody and I'll work with anybody to help our people.
The reason I ask is he's such a petty president, and Kanye says, you know, him wearing the hat is what caused Alice Johnson to get out of prison. So I feel like, do you ever feel like you got to kiss ass?
Listen, I feel like I have to give him credit where it's due.
As you should with anybody.
That should with anybody.
Yeah.
But I think if you look at my record, and I've said it before, there's nobody tougher on Trump when he's wrong. There's no liberal more willing to give him credit when he's right. And that's the basis of our relationship. And does he like it when I'm on TV saying that stuff? He doesn't like it. Does he make sure that I know he doesn't like it? Yeah, he makes sure. I'll make sure he knows that if he wants me to say good stuff, do good stuff. If he wants me to stop saying bad stuff, stop doing bad stuff. And, but I have a relationship.
So y'all speak?
Yeah, I have a relationship.
How often do y'all talk?
Not very often, but often enough when it matters. The thing is, some people say, I'm so radical, I would never talk to Trump. How do you get to be radical based on what you won't do? When did that become the standard? Like, I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
No, I'm so radical I will, if it's gonna do something to help our people.
How did the donation from Travis Scott to Dream Corps happen?
You know, for whatever reason, a lot of the guys who are in the NFL like the Dream Corps. The Dream Corps is an organization that helped to get started. 6, 7 years ago, with help from Prince. And for whatever reason, a lot of guys in the NFL, they like the dream. And they like it because we do so many things. We have Yes We Code, helping sisters and brothers get jobs in Silicon Valley. We have Green for All, helping our folks get jobs in the solar industry. We have Cap 50, helping close prisons. And so they just like the dream. And so I didn't talk to Travis. I didn't ask him. He just announced it.
You heard it on the news.
Yeah, I mean, I was on my phone. I was like, what? So.
But he cash tapped you $500,000?
Yeah, I mean, I was like,
you said something on your phone.
I haven't seen the story on his phone, man.
Oh, I was like, what?
Venmo.
Did the money come in?
I don't know. I have to ask the team. But I appreciated it. And the thing about it is, you have two different strategies.
Shut up. What is going on here? Recent events demand the attention of the World Congress. Will your accumulated diplomatic favor to vote on discussions that are important to you and your people? Religious emergency. Teddy Roosevelt has converted whatever to savagism. We must eradicate this new faith. Keeping religious units in the target city's territory. Everything. Eesh. Begins. Vote against this discussion. If the discussion passes, you will be targeted by this emergency. Bitches. Cleopatra, of course. Choose production. Oh shit, when did I start building a frigate? Build another one, bitch. Fuck it. draw, man. What the fuck is this? Is he dead yet? Dead than a motherfucker. The fuck is this even? Friendship expired. Oh shit. We need to cut it. Ugh. Fucking bullshit, man. Whoa.
Strategies. You know, you have Cap, who says, you know, I'm not going to deal with these guys, but I'm going to reach in my own pocket, Kaepernick, and I'm going to give money to the community, and I'm going to challenge other people. So that means money's coming into the hood from his strategy. You have other people, like, you know, like Eric Jenkins, that say, no, I'm going to make the NFL reach in their pocket and give money to the hood. But from the hood point of view, that just means both are making money coming to the hood. And what you have to appreciate, and we don't talk about history enough, you have to appreciate that these NFL protesters, they're not the first black athletes to protest, but they're the first athletes to protest and make something happen. When Muhammad Ali protested, he made history, but he didn't make professional boxing do one thing to help the hood. Not one thing. When
Never thought about that.
Take a great like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Now
He
that I'm about to
protested.
get your shit.
He didn't make the NBA do one thing to help the hood. These black NFL protesters and their athletes have made the NFL reach into their pocket and give money to the hood, and not just for the obviously positive things that we need, like, you know, camps and scholarships, for change-making organizations. You know, the Dream Corps passed laws. The Dream Corps, you know, last year the Dream Corps spent $1.7 million on criminal justice and got 12 bills passed and made Trump sign a bill. So when you're putting money in the pocket of the Dream Corps, we're coming to change laws. No black protest has ever resulted in forcing the NFL, NBA, professional baseball to fund our liberation. So we sometimes miss the force of, well, you know, Travis said this and he is sellout, and we get down into all that, and we forget the big point is, all these brothers are driving forward. A process is helping us.
I got a couple more questions to get you out of here. The Messy Truth VR experience. What's that documentary about?
Look, man, virtual reality is coming, and I want anything that comes to be used to help our community. Not distract us, not divide us. Most media is just used to distract you or to divide us. Virtual reality.
My city.
You know.
You're losing loyalty in one of our cities.
Winston Duke,
if this
the brother who played
continues, we are in
M'Baku in
danger
Black
of
Panther,
losing control of
sat
the
down with
city.
him. We said, let's do something.
Sending one of our governors there will strengthen
so we
our
created
rule
something called Messy
and gain
Truth
the loyalty
VR,
of
where
the
Winston
citizens.
Duke, who played M'Baku in the Black Panther,
We have taken a new city
is
into our
driving a
civilization by
car.
force.
And your perspective, when you put the
Maintain the loyalty of its citizens. Sending a governor here will help to do this.
If the occupied city still loyalty problems, occupied city, otherwise may rebel and become a free city. What's their shit looking like? Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. When I was dead broke, I couldn't picture this. Yeah, I'm keeping that city. Yeah, I'm keeping the city. Claim my great merchant. Your whole life is feeling shitty. Should I never fuck with my city? What the fuck happened to my trader that's up here? One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Oh, they made him disappear? Whack motherfuckers. What's he gonna do? Gain 500 gold, 2 envoys. Fuck it. Oh man, I'm about to have a Dark Ages? I'll accept that trade. Who the fuck is Haven? Mm-hmm. I think they made that shit up. Anyways, if you'll let me continue my war. Sabaya and Taban. Where you at, bitch? Oh shit. $55. Range 2. This will make it. This will go quicker. Anti-cavalry. It's crazy they don't have the fucking defenses up here. late Renaissance era. Melee. Anti-cavalry. Fuck it. What can I buy with fucking gold down here? Yeah, you're fucking it up, aren't you? Get out of the city. I got 2,000. Go ahead and give me. Damn, I can't get. Ah, you wasted it on that motherfucker. You're out of turns. You're out of turns. You're out of turns. You're out of turns. Everybody's out of turns. Oh shit, we better get jumped. Man, I'm gonna load that fucking turn back. This fucking.
Goggles on, you're a black child, and he's your dad driving the car.
I'm gonna smoke a cigarette. That's fucking.
like once you start making some kind of money, it does have to change you in some ways. So what's different?
All right.
And you get pulled over by the cops. Legitimately, transcript of what happened. And people take the goggles off and cheer. It's not gruesome, but it is very disturbing and it's very real. And
have you tried to do all this before, Sean? Yeah, it's real as hell.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but nobody's been using it for social justice.
Right.
But
you use it for porn and all kinds.
Exactly. You said it. So
I was thinking video games, but got the freak over there.
Yeah. So look. So we said, let's use this tool. If you could walk, people say, if you could just walk in my shoes, if you could be in my skin, if you could be in the world with this person, you would not say most of the dumb stuff that you say. We can make that happen with virtual reality. So when you lift your hands up, your hands are the hands of a small black child. Okay? Like the technology is to that point where you literally are in the skin of somebody else.
So the cop's screaming at you, put your hands down.
Exactly, all that kind of stuff. And so, and we're gonna do more of them. But we got a Lumiere award, which is kind of like the virtual reality equivalent of like an Oscar. And we were up against groups that had tens of millions of dollars, and we just did it, just raising money from like friends and family. But I want to use everything I have for this cause. I want to use every platform, everything I have, because look, man, we don't have that many of us who are in a position to move those kind of resources, and I want to do it.
I want to ask you, man, because you're always talking about everything else. How are you? How was Van Jones?
Van Jones had a rough year last year.
Yeah, I remember the story came out that you was getting a divorce.
Got divorced. My mother died.
Sorry to hear that.
Sorry to hear that. So, God is good. It's like, I got a lot of positive things. Had my first TV show, the Van Jones Show, was like a real thing on CNN. I have another show coming out this year called The Redemption, 8-part docuseries on criminal justice on CNN.
With your wife, was it the fact that y'all grew apart? Because talking about all the things that you do, you work so hard. That got to be hard for your spouse.
I wouldn't marry me. I'll tell you that. But we're still best friends. I mean, it's crazy. Like Jen and I, we've been best friends for 20 years. And she was with me when I was broke, living in a crappy condo with two cats, no money, student loans in default, and paid my taxes for 4 years, you know what I mean, to being a best-selling author and working in the White House, then leaving the White House under fire and having to start all over again. And so that friendship is so strong, and our parenting is so strong. But sometimes the fizz just goes out the soda on the romantic part. And so then the question is, do you just burn the whole thing down because that part doesn't work? Or can you refigure it where you can keep the friendship, keep the parenting, and move on in other parts of life? That's so hard. But our friendship is so strong, and our kids are so important to us, we had to figure it out. And then, because I'm on TV, immediately it's all over the news. We hadn't even really talked to her parents about it. And so now it's like, come on, TMZ. Like, I'm not that daggone famous that it's got to be a front page news story.
People give you flack for that too. They're like, oh my God, Van Jones is married to a white woman.
Yeah, well, listen, people give you flack about all kind of stuff, but for me, she's the mom of my kids. And she was there when I had nothing and when I lost everything. And so, our relationship is like, you could do some kind of paper bag test on it if you want to, but I hope everybody in their life has somebody like Jen, like ride or die, hardcore, no matter what. And I'm proud that we've been able to get through it, but last year was tough. And then I'm getting called Uncle Tom and a coon for trying to get black people out of prison. I said, you mean the people who are on TV who are not trying to get black people out of prison are good? They're cool. But the one dude who's on TV who's trying to get black people out of prison, I'm the coon. Yeah. That was tough. Last year was tough.
Yeah, how do you give so much of yourself to other people and other causes when you're losing a lot of yourself? Like you said, you lost your mom, your wife. Like, how?
Listen, man, my whole life I have been this way. I mean, for whatever reason, I was bullied a lot as a kid because I was a skinny little nerdy kid. I was terrible in sports. I was terrible at everything. I weighed like 89 pounds in the 9th grade, so like I was like super skinny. And then all of a sudden, like I'm like 6'1", and filled out, and I just hate bullies. I hate bullies, and I hate people. You know, when I was little and getting pushed around lockers and chased all around the school and stuff like that, I always thought if I ever get big, I'm not gonna let anything happen to people. It's hard to explain. It's just something that happens to you. Everybody responds to being bullied differently, but I hate bullies. When Donald Trump is bullying people, I hate it. When Nazis and bigots or anti-gay people, whatever, I can't stand it. I cannot sit still. And so it's just who I am.
Do you take some time for yourself?
I take time for myself on planes.
Damn, man. You know, what worries me, eventually everything's gonna catch up to you at once.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And that could be at a time when we really need you.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, look,
You worried about yourself?
I said we.
We really need you.
That's why I said that's why you gotta take time for yourself.
Yeah, look,
Have you given yourself time to grieve over your mom? Or?
Look, I wish I could sit up here and lie. You know, my problem is I can never lie. Well, yes, of course, you know, I'm not gonna lie, like, I haven't had a moment from last year.
Mm-hmm.
My mom passed away in November. In December, we had to pass this daggum bill. And then as soon as we passed the bill, then the Reform Alliance had to get launched. So look, I'm just gonna be very honest. Like, there are seasons in your life where things are out of balance. And I'm in that season where it's a lot of work. It's a lot of trying to help. This season can't last forever. I'm gonna be in a cemetery somewhere. So I know that there's gotta be another season where I do catch up to myself. But I just feel like right now the door is open for justice. I have spent 25 years. Look, when I first started working on this stuff, I had to fight both political parties. I had no money. We were suing cops. We closed 5 abusive youth prisons in California when I was in my 20s and 30s. We reformed the San Francisco Police Department. We stopped them from building a super jail. I was fighting these fights when both parties were against us, when the civil rights community was against us, when you had black Negro preachers against us, and no money. So now, 25 years later, where you can work with both parties, and Jay-Z gonna write a check, I don't feel like it's time for me to take a vacation.
Right.
But is it smart? Would I advise anybody else to do it? No. It'd be much better to have a balanced life. But to me, I'm gonna tell you the truth, I don't think it's the season for that right now. Maybe this summer. You know, once the Reform Alliance is up and we pass some bills, I know sometime it's gonna be that season, but right now our people have waited for it.
Better to be sad when it's cold, man. Don't wait till the summer. Summer, you can be out here. You single now, too? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, I wouldn't date me. Don't do it. It's not a good idea. It's not a good idea.
We appreciate you for joining us this morning.
Yeah, well, thank you for asking.
Where can they go reform?
Reformalliance.com.
Reformalliance.com. All right, well, it's Van Jones.
Yeah.
It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
And now that I think about it, that has kind of been throughout Drake's entire career. That. Just a girl telling you how great he was.
Okay. It's a great strategy, if you ask me. Yeah.
Yeah, because we always gonna follow where the ladies go anyway. So.
Well, 100%. So what I'm saying is there was a lot of us waiting for it to drop, and then it was pushed. I don't think. How did everybody feel that? Why does this keep coming?
I think we're okay. No, I think people within the know that like really fuck with hip hop and be on the blogs and shit got so far going, but it didn't really pop until Best I Ever Had pop.
That's what
like I know people in the know that sit on MySpace and blogs and all that shit. I feel like I heard the
Kanye joint first. I disagree with that too.
I think that was the first thing I heard was the Kanye redo of what on So Far Gone. Oh, Say What's Real. Yeah. Say What's Real came out, if I remember correctly, a couple days before the shit dropped. Okay. That was like the lead off for some weird reason. And it was hard. It was great. But the lead into what we were about to get. Right. I guess maybe he was feeding because we only had heard Comeback Season. He was rapping for the most part that whole entire tape. It was like 2 hooks that he said. Okay. So we went with the rapping shit.
Best I ever had when that came out.
Let's get
you
on
could
our
not
knees and
walk
pray.
20 feet.
I don't know.
But I feel like that came out after Successfully.
Is there a patron saint of ballistic?
Am I wrong?
I mean, the whole shit came out at once. Best I ever had.
But best I ever had was the one that took it like to another level.
I thought Successful was one that really blew it up.
Nah, best I ever had. If we talk about really blowing it up, best I ever had.
Oh, okay.
Like people were playing that everywhere, department stores.
I remember hearing Successful.
I'm with Parks because Successful was what was playing in the streets.
Yeah.
That was like.
No, that's what I was saying. To the people in the know and the people around, yes, the tape was going everywhere. It
Best I
popped
ever
when
had.
Best I Ever Had. He was on Hot 97 because of Best I Ever Had.
Yeah, but they were late, and that's why it's confusing. Because yes, you're correct. They were late to the party, and the streets knew what time it was by then. And now we was just watching. Now we was just watching magic work. Like, okay, let's see what this record that we knew was fire that we played is about to do in the charts. And oh shit, it's going.
Right.
Oh shit, they're re-releasing this project. Oh shit, they're like, oh, there's a video. Oh, Kanye's involved now. Like, it kept going, and we got to watch it. That's all I got.
Okay. Well, yeah, it meant a lot to my generation.
It's gonna be pretty cool.
So
to
we
see.
talked about it.
It's gonna be pretty cool to see it be. I bet it's the #1 album next week.
Well, why ain't nothing else come out?
Yeah.
But still,
it was good timing. I
10-year-old
think
album.
even if you added some releases, it might
It
still
wouldn't
be
matter.
#1.
It wouldn't matter. Yeah.
Still timing.
But it's good. I'm glad the younger kids, because a lot of people that grew up like their first time having access to music with streaming only know that weird EP that has like Fear on it and songs that weren't really on So Far Gone. Like they know the shit now.
Yeah.
There's a new album to them, the same way it was to us 10 years ago. I think that's dope.
That's crazy.
I agree.
That's crazy.
What other album could do that? What other artist?
mixtape?
What other artists can? What other artist has a project that
Cole.
10 years later they can put out and you feel like it would top the charts or just dominate everything?
I don't know about top of charts.
I only have one person and one project in mind.
Carter 2?
No, I don't think. I wouldn't say that.
I think
I
the
would
Cole
say-
mixtapes would make noise. I don't know if they would chart #1.
Warm Up definitely would.
Yeah.
For Cole. Friday Night Lights definitely would for
That's
Cole.
what I'm saying. He had 2, right? Before the major. Yeah.
We ain't too far from a college dropout anniversary.
I mean,
Yeah,
section 80. I don't know if that counts, but if that was released,
that might make
it would make noise.
That might still be my favorite.
When did College Dropout come out?
2004, February 2004.
They're doing a re-release now.
2004.
Yeah.
Yep, February.
Are you telling me that we're 5 years from a 20 year college dropout anniversary?
Yes.
You old,
That's
nigga,
sick.
yeah.
That is sick. That's sick.
Yeah,
I was
nigga,
in college.
you old.
Not dropped out.
You old, my nigga.
That's sick.
That's exactly what that means, Joe.
See, and that,
Freshman in high school.
but that was our point to Rory earlier.
Yeah.
You definitely go look at them niggas and say, wow, that's
To myself.
Wait,
I'm
Rory.
not going to make y'all feel
Rory, so
nuts
you
for being
was-
born at a certain time.
You was 13 when College Dropout came out?
Yeah, I was a freshman in high school.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I'm
college.
getting
but
old.
again,
I'm getting old.
the same way So Far Gone is a big part of my life. College Dropout is a big part of my life. Like 13 going into high school, that's a big.
That's because that.
And that's
is-
why I hold
That's,
Rockefeller.
that's one of the records where you probably found
Now I
hip-hop.
see why your whole generation is soft. For real, look at the album. Look,
No, 'cause
College
couldn't buy-
Dropout, So Far Gone, Cuddy's
Nah,
instrumental.
they
in
got
there.
Cuddy's
Jeezy.
instrumental
They got
where?
Jeezy though.
I couldn't buy this
We
shit.
had
They don't
Jeezy, we
rock
got
with Jeezy
Rockefeller.
like-
Which who the fuck you talking about?
Yeah, they.
TM 101 is
You do?
a classic.
Yeah.
Game's first album in 05
Okay.
is a big
Yeah,
thing to
but
us.
it's
got a few
it's
though.
still different.
But they got a
Beans,
couple. They got a
Beans is
couple.
still there.
Because the shit that
Hey, Rory, knock it off. Beans is not there in this conversation. Beans wasn't putting out.
What the fuck are you talking about?
No, Truth was. No, Truth.
Oh, 02. No, what's Beans? Becoming shit.
Hear about what
That
you
was
heard when you were
2007.
14, man.
Feel It in the Air is when I was in high school. What are you talking about?
I don't want
No,
to hear.
but we got joints when we heard when we was 14. That,
For sure.
That was like.
And this is my issue with y'all
I was
too.
breaking in people's houses at 14.
Okay, but you still have music that you go to and be like, yo, that was my.
I'll say this though, it's different because
And wait,
the
hold
shit
on.
that we wanted to buy when we were 12, 13, 14, like they actually enforced the parental advisory because it was like some hardcore shit.
Yeah,
like
sure.
he was going to buy Kanye, they're like, all right, you get that. It's like about Jesus.
Okay,
Like,
okay, but we
Jesus walking.
here's the difference between my generation and yours. We didn't have to pretend to be thugs because of the music. We was breaking into houses till All Falls Down, and we was still cool. So I don't know what the fuck you
Breaking
talking
into
about.
house, All Falls Down. You're getting caught.
You were not breaking in houses.
You getting caught breaking into house.
That's what I mean
All
about
Falls
this
Down there
generation.
singing and shit
That's
still.
not happening to All
Lock
Falls
all
Down.
of these niggas up.
Breaking in my house with All Falls Down
Yeah,
playing.
y'all
okay?
all
I
gonna
would
fall
light
down for sure.
I would light you and your friends up in here.
Okay. Okay.
Right. You break into my house.
And on top of that, that was
I wish you would, nigga.
All of y'all
jokes aside, that was big Wayne shit. That was big Dipset era. Like, you guys are really trying to make up shit like it was this big soft fucking mashup with music. It wasn't. Just because Kanye was dominating y'all.
Rory, you are correct. I'm only saying that because
And the All Falls Down shit was a joke, but
I'm only saying
the
that
Dipset mixtapes was heavy then.
I would like.
It was the mixtape era. Like,
I would like y'all to receive anybody else in somewhat proximity the way y'all do So Far Gone, like Dipset, because I believe what you're saying. Y'all generation just don't make that visible. Is all I'm saying.
That's a good point.
That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's niggas y'all didn't fuck with. You are
yeah,
deeper into music, so I'm not even really talking about you necessarily. But your generation, y'all don't your adoration for people. It's hard to gauge sometimes, I guess.
But you're looking at a select amount of people that went to college and be on Twitter. Like, that's the only thing you're focusing on at this point. Like, people that are my age that don't be on that social media shit, grew up in the hood, go to work,
I'm in the
regular
work.
shit, they might not be on So Far Gone. You looking at the internet. The internet loves Drake. Like,
No,
you
I'm in
have
the
a
work-
really
no, I'm in the
small...
work- don't do that. I'm in the workplace now, so I'm talking to a lot of these
Fam.
young people in the workplace. There's a lot of young people in the workplace.
What workplace is this?
I work places.
Our workplaces.
So that's also in some of those places.
Are you
Our
bagging
workplaces.
groceries at Seatown on the Ave? Like, what are you talking about?
Listen, I let y'all clown. Y'all, when I was rapping, y'all said I was a bum ass nigga without a job. And then,
Who said that?
Dill, Monty. And now that I have a job, you tell me I don't have a job. That's fine.
No, but we also had, during that teenage years, we had the G-Unit era too. Like, it wasn't really soft shit. When
Yo, why do
I
they
was an
keep-
early teenager. Because that's what we talk about. We talk about college dropout era when I was 13, 14. It wasn't soft.
Rory.
Just because college dropout was charting doesn't mean the rest of the music wasn't.
Your generation's adulthood, y'all adulthood, y'all don't have nothing hard. Stop trying to bring me back to G-Unit and
That's-
Jesus.
you brought me there. That's where you brought
do
me.
they have something hard in their adulthood? Honestly.
Nah, music,
in their
music changed.
adulthood.
Nah, music changed.
So why they don't own that is all I'm saying.
We do. Wait, hold on. Own it. You just clowned
They
us
don't
for
act
celebrating So Far Gone.
Yeah, they don't act
What are you
tough.
talking about?
They don't act tough.
Well,
they just said they broke into houses listening to All Falls Down. I mean, that pretty much lets us know where, like...
Not for nothing, that was actually a true fact. I've definitely done that before.
I want them to admit that they are the softest generation of hip hop. They're sandwiched between tough OGs and the tough little young niggas who's tougher than everybody because they just shoot
You held it down for a while there.
You
son.
have a really good point there that I won't argue because that little blog era was definitely the softer era of music. And
Yeah,
I'm not calling these artists soft by any means.
No,
but,
no, no.
But the Coles,
music.
Wale's,
Yeah.
Wiz Khalifa's, like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're soft. I'm just saying the music was
understand.
not aggressive.
I understand.
It's cool, laid back music, but at the same time, and I don't want to get too factual, but at that time was the biggest boom in kids going to college.
Did you say
At
biggest
OSIM.
boom?
Yeah, that's the way to
It's not
describe
the
it.
biggest boom. Go ahead, though.
Just checking. Go ahead.
You're a baby
But
boomer.
that's not a bad thing, though.
Not at all. I think the music kind of adjusted with, because if you remember, Wale and Cole and Wiz and all them were really trying to go after the college kids because that was the masses now.
Yeah.
Like, just because we grew up a little faster, y'all didn't want to bang no more when we was
Asher
21,
Roth.
but
Yeah.
Asher Roth.
He was
Asher.
going
Rory
after him.
is the Asher Roth generation.
I love college.
Damn, man.
No, I got kicked out of college. Would have been my
You
track.
bring up a good point. Everybody you're talking about
Cater to the college kids.
marketed through college.
Yeah.
I hate them niggas.
That's when hip hop became like a smart genre.
That's why I like Wiz.